Hey everybody, good morning. This is Dr. Kushal Gangwani from Oramax Dental Clinic, and we have started a live video, and today we are going to discuss about spirituality, life, happiness, and many more things. So stay tuned. Very soon Braj Mohan Das is gonna join us. Let me just send the chat invite to my friends. Hey Aishwarya, how are you doing? Good morning. How's the US weather and how is the status of Corona? Hare Krishna. So, thank you for joining this Sunday morning. And very soon we are going to have with us an amazing speaker. His name is Braj Mohan Das, and he is from the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and he shall join us very soon. So please stay tuned. Just in 2 minutes from now, he will join us. Hi Akram, hi Pavan, hi Anju Didi, hi Sharon. Thank you for joining. Hi Vaishnavi. Hope you all guys are staying safe and healthy, keeping yourself healthy. Please share, click on the share button here, send this chat invite to your friends, so that more and more people can join and get benefited from this enlightening session. So yeah, Braj Mohan Prabhu has joined. So I'll just take him live with me.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Brajmohan Prabhu. A very good morning. How are you
Very,
doing?
very good morning.
How are you
I'm good,
doing?
Prabhu. I'm good. How are
Okay.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. All good. So glad to
How
see
has
you on a Sunday morning like this.
how has you been your day?
My day has just started. Like it's been like quite hectic now, but I thought of starting my day with an enlightening chat session with you. So for all
It's my
the
pleasure,
people,
Prabhu.
yeah, for all the people who are viewing us, let me just introduce His Grace Braj Mohan Prabhu to all of you. So, Braj Mohan Das is a monk, life coach, and an inspirational speaker. He's a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and he's a resident monk at ISKCON Chowpatty, India. And he is a mentor for students at IIT Bombay. He has done his BTech from IIT Mumbai and MS in quantum physics from University of Illinois Chicago. So also he has briefly worked at the BARC India and also in Extend Reprise Chicago, and he has extensively spoken on seminars on science, spirituality, leadership, relationships, and self development. He's spoken on various topics at various places, various prestigious places in USA like the MIT, YMCA, Intel, NWU, NYU, NEU, Yale University, Wall Street, and so many. And in India at Rotary Club, Lions Club, Axis Bank, ICT College, Tata Power for over a decade now. And using ancient wisdom for current dilemmas, his message inspires the audience to think deep and act right and live full. So we welcome you, Braj Mohan Prabhu, in this live session, and I will start off by asking you a few questions for the betterment of all of us. So yeah, the topic is
First,
very
just a
interesting today.
minute.
Yes, yes, please, please.
Thank you, Kushal Prabhu. It's been a long time since we connected
Yeah.
yeah, for a long chat. I am sure this chat will bring out something meaningful and useful, and something about my life. Many keep asking whenever I do the talk, any talk that I do, more than the content of the talk, they see the they
Attire.
see me and my profile, and they kind of get confused. If this, then why this? So so so
Nice.
so so I'm glad to be live with you on Instagram. And yes,
Been an honor.
please please. Go ahead.
Yes, so thank you for this wonderful topic you have chosen. Two friends, two paths, a choice dilemma. Such an interesting topic, and I was absolutely floored by the write-up which you have written on your wall. How a dentist like me and a transcendentist like you are coming together on this live chat and discussing about many aspects. Why I choose my profession, why did you choose your profession, and what are the things we are doing to inspire people around us. So it's been wonderful. Like it's been how many years since have you have joined the monastery, the ashram as a monk now?
I came to spirituality in 99 in my first year at IIT Bombay. And then right then in my college days, as I was
Mm-hmm.
scourging through a lot of books,
Mm-hmm.
I happened to find spiritual books amidst all types, new scientists. I was a highly, research oriented, and still am, and trying to find the
Mm-hmm.
truth. And that's one reason why I went to IIT also. It was not
Okay.
because of the prestige that is with IIT, but just the fact that I felt this is where people are really trying to pursue what is uh, conclusive understanding of everything. And
Mm-hmm.
then hours I used to spend just reading so many books at our central library, especially magazines about current understanding of physics, about life.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow through all that, I landed on Gita, and then that it inspired me to dedicate to teach this. And then in 2006, after I went to my master's in United States, that I came back in the end of December, end of 2006, and then try to be a full-time practitioner and teacher of the Bhagavad Gita. So it's 2006, so 14 years now,
14 years. Wow, wonderful. So how
14 years
has the
of
last
Vanvas and
14 साल.
continuing.
So what was the last 14 years been like in your life in the monastery?
It's been a very interesting journey,
Uh-huh.
and as we all see that gives you so many turns and twists that you don't expect,
Mm-hmm.
no matter in which situation you are, and especially if you take a path that you never
Mm.
dreamed of or you never kind of thought of. Recent,
Mm.
some 2 years back, some of my school friends got connected to me, uh,
Okay.
and they kind of were very surprised with my whole change in my lifestyle. And one of my close
Uh-huh.
friends was saying this, what happened in school? You were kind of like a ashiki. I was not truly a kind of romantic guy, but we all have those moments, and we all talk, almost all boys talk about girls, girls talk about boys,
Yeah.
and from such a place, how did you land here? And they came to meet me at my home, and we had a good chat, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to tell them that I I always believed in trying to find the truth and trying to explore yourself rather than just accepting whatever comes your way. And when I
Mm-hmm.
found the Gita, then I was really inspired to follow this. And yes, it
Mm-hmm.
was different lifestyle. And even after you join, there is a certain conception that okay, now you are under the protection of God, and God will Krishna is going to take care of everything. But then even
Mm-hmm.
in that, there are surprises. uh,
Yeah.
or surprises that things don't really work out the way you think, and although people may be in a temple setup, but still there are human challenges, human limitations that also have to be faced along with the spiritual aspiration. So
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot, and seen that anywhere we are, it's a microcosm of
Mm.
what's happening. Same with the temple. It may not be as political or as the energies that are there outside, but you get to see the different struggles that people face, and just living here, kind of cut off from the society. Still, the challenges that people face with the human emotions. I was very well able to see within happening within myself, happening with others around me, and also see the role that the Gita plays. And the more you are aware of the situation around you, the more the Bhagavad Gita and the spirituality becomes more and more appealing. So when you start to see these epiphanies, these truths that are being spoken to you in through the trials, through the tests that come, then
Mm-hmm.
those tests, those truths actually keep you alive, keep you excited. And
Mm.
I'm sure, just like you're a dentist, and your whole
Mm.
thing is to fix people's teeth. Because if the teeth is not there, no matter what best food you have in your mouth, you really can't chew, you really can't enjoy. And
Mm-hmm.
the first time I not the first time it had happened, my issue with dental thing was in first year of IIT. But
Mm-hmm.
recently, when 2 years back, when I went to United States, my mother had packed some snacks
Okay.
for me. And because of it's been almost a month, and those snacks got really hard. And if any of you are aware of the South Indian snacks, they tend to be
Mm.
much harder than North Indian snacks. So I was just munching on one, because one thing I really missed in United States is the taste of India. You may get
Yeah.
the same sabji or same things, but just the taste is not there, because the water is different, the weather is different. You may get all the vegetables from Mexico or exported from to India, India. You just don't find that.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that I had a taste of India was this, snacks, these
Uh-huh.
round things. And as I
Chakli?
was biting chakli, but it's called a sakina. It's made
Okay.
of rice. Chakli is usually made out of besan and
Yeah.
rice flour, but this one is purely made of just rice and til.
Mm-hmm.
Ma- so as I was chewing, one of the feelings that I had broke. I had a
Uh-huh.
tooth. It broke, and then, as you know, it started to pain as I take water or anything. But I had not taken insurance when I went, and taking any dental treatment in US or any medical treatment is super expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
I was said just to do an X-ray will cost hundreds of dollars, and if you have to get something. So with my toothache, with a swollen jaw, I was going all places giving talks,
Mm-hmm.
and but fortunately there was one place where I found a doctor who was a devotee, who was one of our members. Then he
Okay.
saw the condition of my teeth, and obviously the infection had gone till the root, and he did a root canal, which usually costs in US around $2,000 to $3,000, even after
Whoa,
insurance.
that's massive.
That's massive. That's massive. So there is huge demand, and all, and a lot of people from India want to go there, because just the amount of money you
Yeah.
get. Of course, there is the other side of it. There is a lot of insurance that you have to pay. Almost 50% of it goes for the insurance from the people, for the profession. So many types of insurance. So it's a kind of compromise in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I realized, that tooth is a very important factor. If you want to take in anything, you have to bite it with your tooth. And I connected with
Mm.
same with truth. If you have to bite life, then you need to be having a very strong truth. And only
Wow.
when you have strong truth, then you can actually chew and digest. And without that truth, then digesting anything, or even no, even the fact that it is there in your mouth causes pain in
Mm-hmm.
your life. So just I thought of this to share the connection between truth and truth.
Wow, wow, that's a fantastic connection from tooth to truth. So I'm a dentist. I fix people's teeth, and you are fixing people's truth. So that's an amazing profession, fixing people's tooth. So yeah, so I wanted to ask you, like in your childhood, did you ever imagine that you are going to do something like this? What you're doing right now? Did you picture yourself doing this? And what inspired and motivated you to become a monk? Leave that glorious life which everybody dreams of, IIT and all that wonderful job opportunities. You're leaving it aside and joining the monastery as a monk. So what inspired you? What hit you in the head to do that?
Okay. Uh, when you see people's natures, the different
Hmm.
natures that people have, there is one kind of nature where they plan everything in their life. So they make
Hmm.
plans, they make lists, they want everything to be organized. They know they have schedules and they go by the schedules. They have routines and they are very punctual with time. They look forward to having everything put it into charts. They're lovers of Excel sheets.
Hmm.
And the others who just go with the flow. They have a certain idea of where they want to reach, but more than the goal, it's being in the moment. It's being in that it's absorbing that situation or that circumstances is what is priority rather, and that lands up in being not punctual on time, keeping things very disorganized.
Hmm.
That can be a lazy habit, but it can also be a habit because of your absorption into one particular thing. And when I was watching TV in my childhood, my mother
Hmm.
used to always say that if you're in front of the TV and then even if a thief comes, you will not know
Hmm. Yeah.
because you're just
Absorbed.
you get absorbed. Of course, you don't get absorbed into everything, but and then I saw that when I used to read this childhood this storybook called as Chandamama. I don't know how many of
Yeah.
you know that Chandamama. So when I used to read Chandamama, again it was not just cover to cover, just fully into that.
Hmm.
And and so this has been my nature that you try to absorb and you try to get an experience of what you're doing. And even when I took up engineering, say in my intermediate, it was with because I like to do physics. I like to be with the maths. Of course, my mother also used to say, if you are sitting with a maths book, then even if a thief comes, he cannot bother you. So same kind of absorption that I had watching TV was also there when I was relishing maths. We were doing maths. But only one thing in which I never really could put my mind into was biology. And one reason was because you had to memorize so much.
Yeah, it's all about the mind game.
And memory was not my thing. Memory and remembering facts and history, civil, economics, all this was about memory.
Hmm.
But my whole thing was, analysis. Not try to just take a formula and just live with it, delve into it, try to study the structure.
Uh-huh.
So therefore, I have been always a what is today called as a flow guy. So somebody
Hmm.
who is in the flow, and therefore in my childhood, I never really kind of imagined a career for me. Although my mother says that when I used to watch movies when I was really a child, I
Hmm.
always used to say I want to become a police when I grew up. In
Uh-huh.
fact, I insisted to my parents that I have a uniform of police stitched for me, and I still have that photo where I'm dressed as a police and with a dummy revolver and having a pose. So apart from that, my that aspiration just because of watching some movies to become a police, there was never a plan. But because I relished what I was doing, I was growing in that, and that's the reason I also excelled in uh, in my intermediate to go to IIT, and even when at IIT, it was those things that I was relishing that I wanted to experience rather than just follow the protocol and have a plan.
Hmm.
And Krishna consciousness or spirituality is a lot about both observing but also in absorbing. So observing things around you, but absorbing in things with you.
Yeah, wonderful.
And so therefore, this kind of lifestyle that I chosen was something that supports my kind of nature. Of course, it also
Hmm.
supports the other kind of nature that somebody may have having very uh, planned out life. But
Hmm.
I never planned my life to go this way. And of course, when romantic feelings took over in my 10th or in my 11th, I did flow for a time, but they were not as strong as my I shouldn't say romance, but my romance with science.
Oh, wow.
And that same romance with science continues till now, but that science is not just just some physical sciences, but spiritual sciences. Everything that I try to study in the Gita or in the scriptures is from a very scientific and experiential point of view rather than I need this is what I need to get out of this.
Wow, wow, that's wonderful. Your journey is incredible, Prabhuji. And like you did done quantum physics, you studied so much intricacies and details of the physics aspect, so which you have applied it in your spirituality, and you're using that same logic, to reveal all those hidden gems in spirituality by you that focus, that mindset. So amazing. Thanks for that inspirational story. Uh, Coming to the next question, I wanted to ask you, how can one become a non-conformist? Non-conformist in the sense that, like, we all do whatever society wants us to do, our families, our peer pressure. So we just follow whatever they want us to do. Since childhood, we are told that I was told that you have to be a doctor, you have to be a doctor. So that imprinted in my mind so much that I also started to think like that. So that is conformism. So how can one be a non-conformist and follow one's dream and passion, which also, like, pay the bills, and which helps gives us that true inner fulfillment and happiness what we are doing. So what is your take on that?
uh, One of the reasons why we all know are conformists to a large extent is because we need appreciation and we need acceptance
Hmm.
from society, from someone. and and when our acceptance is based on people pe- is based on people accepting our lifestyles or other things,
Hmm.
then we tend to go into that, because unless I conform to the ideas or the way the world is going by,
Hmm.
I will be not accepted, and that feeling of non-acceptance is something that's not easy to live with or to. And so, fortunately, I always had my parents who, although they were interested to for that I study nicely and do, I I never saw that it was that aspect of me to excel in my studies was
Hmm.
their main priority. And it was not done through teaching, but it was done through their own living. They themselves, they always emphasize the principle of trying to help others.
Hmm.
They never try to hoard for themselves, make money, but always saw that both my mother and father, that no matter whatever they had, always trying to just share. And when I used to get some grades, I remember in my seventh or eighth, I got uh, there was another girl in my classroom who was like my competitor, and
Mhm.
sometimes she used to get first, sometimes I used to get first. So for a long time, I was first. Then I went and showed my mother my grades, and my mother saw the grades, and she wasn't excited about it.
Mhm.
She was There was literally no expression on her face that I got a first.
Mhm.
And this was something because all my friends were somehow just wanting to pass, wanting, and they were told by their parents, if you get a first, you will get a cycle, you will get this or that, and that emphasis, that either the emphasis or the expression wasn't there, and I did feel a bit hurt at those in the time.
Mhm.
But later, through when I understood different mindsets and the value that I learned through that experience was that that was not the most important thing for my parents to get a good
Mhm.
grade. What was important for them that I be a good son, I be a good human being, and they always engage me into helping them to in either purchasing groceries or being a responsible person. And so I understood that it is not just conforming to get some benefits, but it is in being responsible for your life and responsible to help others is what is more important. And see what best way you can be responsible or you can be useful to the society.
Mhm.
And if you follow that rather than, okay, if this is what everybody is running after, let me be that, although you may not be good. And it was that same mindset that also took me to this path, that I feel this is the best way I can be useful to myself and also useful
Mhm.
to others. And then of course my parents didn't never saw, because it was lot of the training, lot of the culture that we give around is done on a subconscious level. It's not consciously given. That's why it is said that values are caught, not they are not taught. And so my parents did feel morose, and my father fasted for 3 days. He didn't eat, he didn't drink when I chose to do this. Somehow I
God.
somehow I made him drink something. It's another story. But later they also started to see that how I was helping so many people. And also along with helping, I was also bringing good values and happiness to myself whenever I used to go. Although after being a monk, I was a
Mhm.
normal kid at home, child at home, helping my mother with kitchen. In fact, I used to tell my mother, take a day off. I'm going to cook today, and I used to cook all the things
Wonderful.
that are made here. And then they used to see that how I never shun off my responsibility as a child, as a son to them.
Mhm.
Always did that, but just that I now took up more responsibility, not just now for the family, but for the society, and then to serve God, which is the highest responsibility. So that same
Mhm.
values that were taught of being responsible rather than being honest and doing your best rather than proving something to someone. I saw in them that they were not just running after what society shows as thing, although they were very much part of society and always helping. And the same values somehow inspired me. And in IIT also uh, like I in IIT I did share in my classes many times this. We are called as BTech, and BTech are called as Bhatke in IIT in lingo, because we are into everything. Oh, that
I know.
we and then MTechs are called as Matke. And then there was
Interesting.
there was a tagline: whether you are a Bhatke or you are a Matke, you have
Hmm.
to be Hatke. So the
You are
whole
truly
thing,
hatke.
so the whole kind of training and at IIT or what I saw was you do if you have to excel, you have to think different. You have to just see and what best way you can come out with your skills and with your abilities. And so my time with IIT also helped me to know not be a conformist. Although within that setup, also there was conformist ideas that this is what you do, and to some extent, I did follow those conformist ideas. After IIT, I applied for GRE, went abroad, did my masters, and did a job there. But all this, there was that no aspect of what do I really feel for? What is that really calling for? Let me give time to that rather than no just no conforming. So more than seeing whether to be conformist or non-conformist and just being a rebel, see what can be the most responsible thing you can do for yourself and through you to the society, and follow that.
Wow, thank you for that incredible input, and especially the point where your upbringing, you have shared that your values are caught, they are not taught. So, if the tree is so amazingly beautiful, so what to speak of the fruit like you? So, I hats off to your parents, Roji, for bringing you in such a wonderful, favorable environment and to being totally a non-conformist, like you said. And so, my next question to you is, they say that you do a many lot of corporate events and train the corporate sector out there. So how can you bring spirituality or spiritual values to one's profession, one's business, and how to create the right work ethics, ethos in an organization? So nowadays people are taking to spirituality in corporate world also. So what is your suggestion to them? What is your take on that?
Yeah. When I had few years back when I was touring US, uh, I was invited for a talk at Yale, and
Mm-hmm.
as I was walking in the Yale campus to the venue, I saw all over the trees there were some posters put up, and I just went to see what is the posters about, and these posters were about preventing suicide. And I was surprised, and I asked the professor who invited me that what is this? This is a high Ivy League college, and people that are very brilliant come here. And here there is this issue of suicide. And she said, yes. In fact, the rate in Ivy League schools of suicide is more than normal schools or other places. And the reason for that is that, people are achievers, and when they come to these prestigious universities, and when they try to be, they have tagged themselves as the topper or whatever, and then they meet equally talented or more talented people in these places in this, and then they're not able to really come up to that level. They're a mediocre there, or they're a failure there, and they cannot accept, because all through their life they've always been a topper. And that's why they say, in Australian army, they don't accept anyone that didn't get a failure in their grades.
Wow.
Usually you see all the time, people have to have best grades. But it's a condition in Australian army that unless there is a F in your records, they don't take you. And the reason for that is that shows an attitude in you that although you failed, you didn't break down. Because most of the times when successful people have a failure, they have a breakdown. Having a failure doesn't need to go to a breakdown. And then I was sharing in that same Yale talk that the reason why scriptures are still valid, Bhagavad Gita are still valued, is although our external environment has changed, human psychology has not changed. Humans'
True.
natures have not changed, or what we aspire for. In those times, what was in contention, what was being aspired for, is property and having the right, beautiful people around you. There was fight for Draupadi. There was fight for the property of the Kurukshetra war. So people's aspirations, desires, and their insecurities, all the things that are happening inside our system has not changed. And in the olden times, still people things were not as changing as they are now. And
Mm-hmm.
with and so because the human psychology and human fears have not changed, and we are still dealing with people, we're still, there's not a time where we don't with deal people. And it is most often in dealing with people, in trying to achieve that, our mind takes over, our relationships break. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
either it be a corporate setup, either it be a family setup, it's all people. And if and unless you understand how to deal with people, how to address others' concerns with and try to put others' concerns before your own. And this training is very much needed even in corporate setup, because it is said that initially when corporates began, it was the industrial revolution. And
Mm-hmm.
industrial revolution was all assembly lines where you produce products after product, and all that was needed was just hands. If you can just engage people's hands, then no, you can you achieve productivity. But later they started to see that it was not just products that were being developed, it was also now to develop better products. To develop better
Mm-hmm.
products, you need good heads. So good hands you can just get by putting giving incentives and salaries. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole research that shows is that people's creativity, people's ability to think doesn't increase, and their insecurities doesn't just go away just because you give incentives. It comes through appreciation, it comes through having that bonding. And so nowadays, Google or many places, they have this, that anybody has any suggestion, you can just email to write to the chiefs, or in the old, like in 1980s, 1990s, the system was you just use this pinch what do you call that, 3M chips, 3M papers, stick pads, stick notes, and just write your idea and stick it.
Stick.
And in fact, this is a research that Google shared, that Google has 80% of their, they have said that 80% of the time you're in the office, you have to do whatever is the project that you are assigned to. But 20% of the time, you will be paid no matter what you do. So you go from 9 to 5, you have a break. Apart from the break, actual working hours, in that 20% of the time, that is 1 hour, you can just decide not to do anything, just play around, or just go into
Mm-hmm.
any project that you want that is happening, and go and sit with any meetings. And they made this as a 80-20 rule.
Wow.
And then what happened was that all these people that were in one particular research or project, they were curious about other things that were happening, and they went into other things. They had their own ideas how to improve, because it was not something that was labeled, or they were not put into a box. And
Mm-hmm.
almost every invention, every Google that came up with, happened in the 20% of the time, not in the 80% of the allotted time, but in the 20% headspace that was given. And so corporates realize that we need to give people that space. And when people are overcome by insecurities, they really can't have an open space. And to be
True.
able to remove this, competitive spirit of trying to pull each other's leg, or not feeling appreciated. How do I really understand my boss, or how does the boss understand the people, and to make
Mm-hmm.
that connections. And now they say it is not just connect using people's hands, or the heads, but it's actually having a strong relationship with your teammates and employee and employer. It is actually connecting to the hearts, that brings best productivity, best creativity, best enthusiasm out of people. Otherwise, people are all stingy. They don't really want to give fully. They're all just powered by money.
True.
And money power doesn't take you as long as love power or affection power.
Mm.
So, when I share to corporate, like the one I shared in Intel was about negativity, and there's so much negativity, and most of it is cooked up in our own heads like a pressure cooker. And to be able to remove this from on both sides uh, helps the whole team to be together,
Mhm.
and also in bringing out any success there is more joy, as they say that success joy increases, multiplies by sharing. And if
Mm.
in case there is any failure, the previous thing was no, one guy was found fault, but in the
Mm.
team spirit, then the sorrows are divided by sharing. So the joys multiply by sharing, and sorrows divide by sharing. And any company, there will be successes, there will be failures, and
Mm.
to be able to continue with the team spirit and being together has been a very important concern for corporates. And many of my lessons I give from the Pandavas' life, because
Mm.
Pandavas were all five different mindset, and the way they saw life was different, but still they were always together. So that variety with the unity that they had brought a very irresistible strength to them, which nobody could
Mm.
resist. And this kind of spirit that the Pandavas showed, or different stories, I try to share in the corporates so that they can take those values and deal with the challenges on the principle of honesty and the principle of unity. So it's
Wow.
very much valid. The spiritual knowledge, it's to help people deal with their human fears, nature, and also to be able to bond with people. So whether it's a corporate setup or anywhere, these principles are universally applicable.
Wow, thank you for the wonderful input. Guys, if you're loving this video, please click on the love button and share button down there. And like he said, there's an amazing point he has made here that how we don't, the incentives won't work, but it's also the appreciation and the love and the affection which we need to give the employees to bring out the best creativity from their heads. So it's just not
Yeah.
about hands and heads, but it
I'll
is
share
about
I'll
the
share
heart.
one thing about
So that was a very wonderful point.
Satya Nadella.
So, Prabhuji, my next question to you is uh, people talk about meditation all the time. There are yoga schools, so many schools of meditation. So, what is the concept of meditation according to you? What is the meditation which you practice? Do you believe that life itself is a meditation, or you know that a particular time of your day you should devote to meditation? So, how can one focus on one's meditation and focus on one our mental one track? Well, so many issues are going on in the head. There's so much mental space is occupied by so many things. So how can we put that all in the back seat and focus, be on the track of while meditating? That is an important. Like I wanted
Med,
to
med,
ask it for myself.
Meditation is very much in demand now all over the world. People are talking about it, and there's so much research that is being done on meditation. Uh,
Hmm.
just some points about this. Medi some years back, people thought that in doing many things at a time, multitasking
Hmm.
was you increase your productivity because you're able to do many things at a time.
Hmm.
And then what they found out was that if you have to do some routine tasks or
Hmm.
something that doesn't need really thinking, or
Hmm.
something that doesn't really need learning or observing, then multitasks can be done, where it's basically it's called as the muscle memory, that
Yeah.
once the skill comes into your muscle, like we all had this experience that once you start to go to your school, day in and day out, it just becomes a habit. And the moment you get out of your home, whether you're walking, whether you're driving or anyway, you don't even have to be conscious of where you're walking, how you're driving. It just comes into your muscle, and in those times you can talk to others, you can work out. And so when it is about just some routine things, some physical things, then we can do multitasking. But if
Mhm.
it has to be about learning, if is about solving, then those
Mhm.
things where the brain has to be actively involved, the research and understanding shows that no brain cannot really multitask. It has to it can only do one thing at a time. All the time,
Mhm.
we see that you're trying to uh, write a paper and also hear a talk.
Mhm.
You can't do both unless what you're writing on the paper is just some copy pasting. You're copying from
Yeah.
here, you're copying from there. Then you can very well be fully attentive for the class and still do it. But if you have to actually think and write and also hear and understand, both can't
Mhm.
happen at the same time.
True.
The only thing that can happen at the same time as you're hearing and writing is if you're writing about what you're hearing.
Mm. True
Otherwise,
that.
both need intellectual faculty, and both can't happen. And in current age of distractions,
Mm.
where we are anyway, apart from this habit of multitasking, doing many things at a time, where we are distracted by so many ads. I remember when I went to first time to Times Square, I really understood that how everyone is just trying to grab your attention because there's so many
Yes.
billboards all over,
Billboards.
and everyone is trying to grab your attention and hook to you for for selling a product or selling a service or no
Nowadays, we
some
don't need
kind
to
of
see the billboards. Everything is available on your social media, Instagram. There's so
yes
many
yes yes.
ads when you scroll. Yeah.
So every post, every sponsored ad, every is trying to grab your attention, trying to take a
Yeah.
piece of your mind, and the mind can just gets busy with this, and we just don't have the restraint to use that product, the mind, but we become used by the mind. There's a small
Yeah.
story that I heard in our ashram. Once a man, he prayed to God. He prayed to God, "Oh God, if I'm walking for so long, and I'm feeling very tired. If I
Mhm.
had a horse, it will be very nice. Then
Mm.
I can ride on the horse." So as he was praying, somehow a horse was passing by. So he became happy. Oh, God
Mhm.
fulfilled my prayer, and he took the horse and started to ride on the horse.
Mhm.
And after a while, he saw that the horse was walking very slowly.
Mhm.
And this happens with almost all our phones. That
Mhm.
initially, when we start to ride on our phones, they're very fast. And as we spend 6 months, or sometimes it is actually physical, and sometimes it is just in your mind that the phone has become
Mm.
slow because you have seen the next Redmi or next One O or One
iPhone.
Plus or next iPhone, and somehow subconscious you start to think, hey, my phone has become slow. And so this man, he started to see that my horse is becoming slow and it's not walking. And then a
Mhm.
point came where it was not walking at all. It was just hardly taking any steps. Then he was really bothered. Kuch to gadbad hai. Something is wrong with this horse. So he got down and tried to see what's wrong. And then he saw this horse as a has actually, it was actually a pregnant horse. And because
Mhm.
it was pregnant, and now that its time is coming to give delivery, so it was no not able to do walk. He said, "ठीक है, okay. Once I'll give
Mhm.
time, I'll keep my phone away. I'll keep these things away. Then things will improve. It will. I'll delete all the apps." So
Mhm.
he let the horse be born, the little uh, horse. And after the horse was born, immediately he sat on
Mhm.
the mother horse and said, okay, now let's go. And now the mother horse was not moving at all because no, her affection for the little baby. Now
Yeah.
what? Then how does he make the little? Because and the little baby, she's just born. She cannot walk.
Mm.
And she cannot walk in a unidirectional way. She'll go all over the place if you let her walk.
Mm.
So then he started to think, what do I do? How
Mm.
do I handle this situation? And then he cannot take the baby horse and sit in with him. He tried that also, but the mother became more berserk because she was not able to find her baby. Where did my baby go? Because the baby was on the top with the man.
Mm.
Then he thought, okay, the only way I can make the horse walk is if I take the baby on my in my shoulders,
Mm.
on my shoulders, and walk in front.
Mm.
And he was walking with this baby horse on his shoulders, and along with the horse was walking behind. And
Mm.
suddenly a realization stuck to him. I thought I wanted to ride on a horse, but now the horse is riding on me. And this is how technology or things that we take things so that we can use them, we can be comfortable by them.
Mm.
But slowly, we start to get addicted. This person could have just left the both of them and just walked, but now that he's used to the horse,
Mm.
he somehow has to be in touch with the horse. But now, who 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 is controlling the situation? It was the horse. It was not the man.
Mm.
And
True.
that's what happens with things around us, with the relationships, that instead of we actually investing and getting some benefit out of this, we are
Mm.
starting to become slaves of the technology, slaves of the situations. So to get that inner power, to get that strength, uh, is what is meditation. Just like we charge
Mm.
all our phones by connecting to a power source, same way
Mm.
meditation is charging our souls by connecting to a power source and of God, or something that is beyond your reach.
Mhm.
So some people just do plain meditation where they just try to null all their thoughts and just get a hold on the mind just through their powers, just through their intellect, and which is
Mhm.
okay, but it's quite difficult. But the most easiest way is the names of God, because names of God are very powerful, and because they have a rhythm, and they have the names are very spiritual. They are very
Mm.
easy to focus our mind. And
Mm.
if the first thing that you do is to train the mind to do one thing at a time, and that too something
Mm.
very spiritual, something very holy, then
Mm.
that sets the trend for the day.
True.
Most of us, we start our day with phone and we end
Phones.
our day with phone.
I know.
And so that's what we are being ridden. We are riding, the horse is riding on us, and to be able to not get absorbed, because what usually happens is that somebody messages you positively, negatively, and all the thoughts are taken over by other people's validation upon
Mm.
us. And if we start with that, the whole day is spent on trying to seek validation. Instead of that,
Mm.
if we spend the day nourishing ourselves and feeling fulfilled from inside, then during the day we will not go after the drive of validation either through posting or through whatever we're doing, but we're really driven by what you really want to do. So meditation brings you that that control on your mind by connecting to a powerful source, just like we
Powerhouse.
charge our phones. And the particular meditation that I do, because is the Hare Krishna mantra. I I repeat that Hare Krishna mantra and then focus on the sound of that. And it's around 1 hour, 20 minutes, with 1.5 hour, sometimes 2 hours, based depending on how much is your focus that day. And
Mm-hmm.
then this long focus really helps me to focus during my day on whatever I do, whether I am working on a some particular presentation or I'm in a meeting. I'm fully there, and because I'm fully there, what would have taken a lot of time can be done in a very quick time. And I also saw this at IIT Bombay when I was studying. Before I started meditation, my grades were quite poor. And the reason for that, one was I had a lot of friends that were just wasting away my time, in chit chat or all other things. Another was I was not able to really focus. But as I started this meditation, mantra meditation, Hare Krishna, chanting, some of my friends, those friends that they just were not eating away my time or my money, somehow they started to
Mm-hmm.
become distant because they kind of felt scared out of me. Of course, I did have very lot of good friends, but all those time wasting friends somehow avoided me,
Toxic people. Yeah.
toxic people, and uh, and just my own inner ability to able to focus and learn was also improved way much within my capacity. It's not that I was a topper in all grade and all classes.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it be studies, whether it be work, whether it be life, that ability to focus and say no to all those distractions or toxicity comes through
Mm-hmm.
meditation. So therefore, people say, "I want to focus," but they don't know that first you need to focus and get trained with one thing, especially a superpower. And once you
Mm-hmm.
do that, then your whole, as you said, whole life can be a meditation. I give this
Yeah.
example. When you go to a classroom, the teacher is teaching on the blackboard some concept,
Mm-hmm.
say laws of physics, and that
Mm-hmm.
F is equal to ma or anything. And when she's teaching that, she's te it is not that the teaching is just in the classroom. It's not physics is only in the classroom. It is that you connect to that message in the classroom in a very focused way. And then when you
Mm-hmm.
go out of the classroom, you can see that connection everywhere.
True.
But if you don't spend that time to see that connection in a very focused way, then when you go out, you can't see anything literally the way it was taught. So therefore, a focused, no, time, which is meditation, helps us to spend our whole day many times in a subconscious way, because
Mm-hmm.
consciously to focus is drains our energy, but to
True.
have this subconscious ability to focus is what meditation eventually gives you. And then it's not a very drain on your mind or your physic energy. It just becomes part of your system, that whatever you do, you just absorb there, and you get the best of that experience.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Prabhuji, once again for this such incredible giving us the gist of what meditation is and how we can apply this principle of meditation in our whole life, especially by telling the story of the man and the horse. So it's so much relevant in today's video where people are just so hooked up to their social media handles, and every the day starts with, like you said, starts with the phone and ends with the phone. So our whole mind is consumed by the consciousness of phone. So we don't have time to think of
Yeah.
anything else. So I think it's not about doing new things, but it's about honing the same thing and making it better every day.
Yes,
So,
yes,
like
yes.
Bruce Lee said, the man to be feared is not he who practices 1,000 kicks once, but he who practices one kick 1,000 times. So,
Yes,
it's
yes,
meditation is about that, to refining the practice, if I'm not wrong, right?
yes.
So, Prabhuji, we just have a few seconds left. So, we will just, once this meeting ends, so we'll start a new chat, like new live, and then you can join it again if it ends. So,
Okay.
my next question to you is, do you face any kind of discomfort or any kind of backlash for the color you're wearing or the tilak which you wear, especially in corporate world where you go? What is your experience? How do people react to it? And like, what is your take on that? Yeah, what kind of discomfort, I may say, or discomfort you may feel? Have you experienced any time like that? So I'll just end the meeting now, probably. We'll start a new chat then. Then you
Okay.
can answer this question.
hello everybody, we are back. Instagram unfortunately allows only 1 hour, and the talk was so amazing that we couldn't resist speaking more than 1 hour. So, meanwhile, I would want to request you, if you have any questions, you can post your questions down there in the comment section, and we will ask them to Braj Mohan Das, and he will be happy to address them. Meanwhile, keep pressing the like button and the share button. Tell your friends about this live chat. It's such an inspiring talk. He has taken such nice efforts and organized it. So, Brajmohan Prabhu, if you're there, you can just send me a request. I will take you live once again with me. So we spoke on so many things right now, about meditation, about so many aspects of life, how to do meditation, what is actually meditation. So it was such an amazing answers which he has given. Okay, so I will go
Again with Braj Mohan Das. Please, guys, stay tuned. Share this link to all your friends. Let the wisdom go viral, like Jay Shetty calls. Yes, Prabhuji. So we are back. Welcome again. And yeah, so my question to you, you can just address that question which I asked in the last.
You can repeat those who know will just see this live.
Yes.
They may not. You can just
Yeah.
repeat the
So my
question.
question was like, do you face any kind of discomfort or any kind of backlash for the color you wear, the saffron color or the tilak tikka you're wearing, especially in the corporate world where you go out in the corporate sector to Intel, to Yale University? People sometimes feel disconnected and they feel what is this person doing here? So have you any time faced it and how do you handle such situation?
The the regarding the tilak,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in India, uh, people very much many times just know about what that this is some kind of religious symbol. But I've faced a lot of queries, especially when I travel in West, that people
Mm-hmm.
ask me about this color. Once one lady came and said, "Is orange your favorite color?" And when I was a student, no, I also when I used to wear this tilak or this choti, then I had to tell the barber, and I went in the supercuts that
Mm,
please don't cut this. And for them, it was really weird that why is this extra thing just there?
yeah.
And I had to say I'm a priest, and you're not supposed to cut. Of course, now I shave my own head,
Mm-hmm.
and this and once and all, people all the time ask about this, and I say that this is uh, the feet of God, this
Yeah.
thing, and you're surrendering to the feet of God. So this is a symbolic of that this body, just like any building, has a symbol showing what it is about, a church or a clinic, different there is a symbol on top of the building. Same
Flag,
way,
like flag. Yeah.
yeah, like a flag. So same way, this is a flag, this is a symbol of that surrender. Uh, and just like a police wears a uniform so that he can be approached for that particular task. Same way in the society, when people see this color, they know this person represents spiritual knowledge, or
Mm-hmm.
and we has to be approached for that. So it
Mm-hmm.
just makes uh, the our identification for those people who are in need easier.
Okay.
And so that's the whole purpose of it. And traditionally, the saffron represented fire. Uh, and in the because the sadhus used to roam in the forest to protect themselves from wild animals,
Mm-hmm.
just by wearing this color, they were protected
Mm-hmm.
because the
Interesting.
animals used not come near because it used to be some kind of fire that was
Mm-hmm.
burning far. And another thing is that uh, when you are like I don't know, if you are facing a light, especially sunlight or any kind of
Mm-hmm.
light, and you close your eyes, what is the color you see? Can you all just do this? Just go close to a light and close your eyes. You will see a color.
Orange. Yeah, orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
That's the same color I'm wearing. not I am wearing, sadhus used to wear, that the color of orange is visible even in darkness, or
Yeah.
it is the sun, it is the light that is supposed to be risen, and it's just,
Mm.
and that person who can open our light, our eyes from
Mm.
darkness to ignorance, and to be able to help do that. It's not we wear this. Of course, there are different qualifications that are needed, and a person either aspires for them or he is up to that level. So I
Mm-hmm.
did face once a serious life threat because of wearing this kind of tilak in 2004, when I, not even when I joined ashram, as I was
Mm-hmm.
once going to my college wearing the tilak, I saw
Mm-hmm.
a man running towards me with some kind of weapon,
My God.
saying that what is that on your head?
Mm.
And somehow he was, no, he was hitting other religions or other thing, and it was a serious threat. And of course I was next to a train station, and I
Mm-hmm.
immediately ran into the train station and caught a train that was somehow there, and then I escaped. But apart from that, uh, never did I face any rejection because of this or
Mm.
any kind of, and those people that because of social media, now people are already aware whom they are calling to an event. And
Mm.
I've got some requests sometimes that can you change your dress to civil clothes. There was something
Mm.
happening in Turkey, and
Mm-hmm.
they wanted me to come, but then they wanted to change my attire, and because this is how I am to the public, it will create, all kind of confusion, and I insisted that this is how I've chosen to be my lifestyle, and the message is all
Mm-hmm.
secular, and the message is about life, about relationships, about, productivity. So yeah, everything will have benefits and pros and cons, but the whole
Mm-hmm.
purpose of being in this, kind of, it's not a must for to be a spiritual person, but just the ashram, the brahmachari or the sannyas ashram, wears this as a reminder
Mm-hmm.
to themselves that they are supposed to cultivate this knowledge and represent that. So it just is a physical reminder for you to focus on what you're meant to, because this is what you fully dedicated. But this is not a must for anyone to practice spirituality. And like yourself, you have been a good friend of mine. We have gone
Yes.
to different programs together. So
Mm.
being at home, one can engage one's own family in spiritual path, and that itself is a perfection. And
Mm-hmm.
this kind of lifestyle is my lifestyle. Only very few choose, like I say, that pass out of a
Chosen ones.
college,
Mm.
when you pass out of a college, there are some who choose to become professors. They come back to the college, and there are
Mm.
many that go out and practice that. They become professionals. So we both graduated from, or we are still either in learning stage, but
Mm.
some of us chosen to spend more time teaching. If I was not into this lifestyle, I would have been busy in some Fermi lab or into my scientific research, and not
Mm-hmm.
got the time to really, share the message. So
Mm.
this whole venture is only so that I could get more time and energy to be able to help people. But
Mm-hmm.
those that want to first help themselves and also support those that are
Mm.
helping, that's also a perfect ashram, that's a stay, which is the grahast ashram, which you are
Mm-hmm.
part of. And these two
Yeah.
parts, there is more, traction for obviously, living a normal life, and that's what Krishna also recommends, that you have to follow your nature. And uh, myself, it's not that, no, just because I've worn this, it's not that I don't have my priorities, my skill set, my likings. I have all
Mm-hmm.
that. And initially in immaturity, you may start to think, no, I can do anything or I can do everything. I can.
Mm-hmm.
But you start to understand that just because you've changed this kind of, it's not that your inner self has changed. You still have to
Mm-hmm.
honor and engage that to in the profession that you are. Just like
Yeah.
yourself. I've hardly seen any dentist who are trying to share wisdom along with their practice. But because
Yeah.
you have that element in you, along with helping people fix their tooth, you're also trying
Mm-hmm.
to share wisdom through your efforts, because that
Mm-hmm.
element is there in you to share and help. And I saw that element way back when you were a student.
Mm.
When you're a student also, you always wanted to help people with spirituality, with anything, that any kind of trouble that was there. I knew Kushal was always there to help people, and that same
Mm-hmm.
element is still coming in different. So therefore, the elements that we carry, we cannot just sublimate them, remove,
Yeah.
delete them. We have to honor those elements, but engage in the situation that we are currently. So as you're doing through your profession, I'm getting more time, and it is through people like you that I try to pass on the message to more and more. So we both become like like Mercedes and Benz. You know the
Yeah.
story of Mercedes and Benz. So
Yeah.
Mercedes was the one who was the creator of the whole model, but it was Benz who
Ben.
was the organizer, who was the promoter,
Mm.
because he had more market idea.
Mm-hmm.
So because you are in the market, the whole thing going. And then sometimes you bring people like us to help people smoothen their vehicles. So, so we both have
You
to
are truly a Mercedes Benz
uh,
role.
work hand in hand. Yes,
And
uh,
also one more
I don't take
significance of
credit for
saffron, which I
everything.
heard from, yeah, significance of
Yes, please
saffron,
share.
which I heard from someone, is the saffron threads, the kesar, which, kesar has to go
Yeah.
through so much of things. They have to be roasted on a tawa, and then it has to be crushed, and then you put it in little milk, and then you add to a prep. So it gives out its flavors. So among people like you who are saffron, who wear saffron, they add value to others' life by going through that turmoil, going through all that hardships. So that is one commendable
Wow.
job which you're doing, Prabhi. I'm very grateful to you for that. So, Prabhi, my next question to you is, wearing the saffron, tilak, kantimala, tulsi beads, these are all rituals. So people ask, what is the need of rituals in religion or a particular faith? There's a very famous saying, I am very spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. People just say out of fashion that I'm very spiritual. But what is this ritual? What is the sense? What is the need of these rituals in a particular faith, or in a religion? You call it.
Well, very common question, and thank you for asking that. That people think all this, this is all showbazi, and
Yeah.
hmm, every goal has to uh, has to come out in into a plan. If a goal doesn't have a plan of action,
Mm.
then the goal just remains, a daydream.
Yeah.
And they say action. They say vision without action is daydream, and action without vision is a nightmare.
True.
And 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 the whole purpose for this rituals is that you want to get there, you have a goal, but there is a application, like you want to have good health. That's your goal.
Mm.
But if you want to have good health, there is a particular regime, a routine, a ritual you need to follow. That is
Mm-hmm.
of lifting weights. You constantly
Yeah.
keep doing that. But say if you lose sight of what is the goal, then those lifting of the weights is either useless or is harmful, because you don't have a goal and you don't know when to live, how to do. And so when ritual without meaning is just a hard work or unnecessary thing, but a ritual
Mm-hmm.
with the proper spirit understanding, with the spirit behind that, becomes spiritual. And
Wow.
rituals are everywhere. If you want a good health, you have to follow particular morning rituals of getting up, cleansing yourself, and going through the motions, different activities. Or rituals are also another thing is expressions of what is inside of you. Just like when Virat Kohli hits a six.
Mm,
Now at IPL, they're just playing the sounds. There's no audience there, but they're
mm,
just trying to show kind of experience, give that same experience to the audience.
mm,
Now the noise that usually comes in the audio in the auditorium in a stadium, does anyone pay to the audience, those that are watching cricket match, that you have to shout in the match?
mm,
Only just few called as cheer girls, they are paid, right? They play all this. But rest, all the lakhs of people that are there in the stadium, they cheer when Virat Kohli hits a six. They
yeah.
cheer when Jasprit Bumrah bowls a Yorker. And why are they cheering? That cheering is the expression of joy. So rituals are also so it can be seen as just a ritual if somebody is paid for it. Somebody doesn't know
Mm,
why it is being done, because like sometimes we see this, that in a party everybody is laughing, therefore you also laugh. So then that's a ritual.
yeah.
But because but if you actually felt the joke, and then when you laugh, or if you
Mm,
actually feel for the person, and then when you take a gift,
mm,
then it's not a ritual, it's an expression of your feeling. Same way,
mm,
the rituals that are there are either means to get there, a practical plan of action,
mm,
or an expression of your feeling to God or to the society. And these different feeling, and they're all most of these rituals are also highly scientific. Just like yesterday
mm,
only I was sharing in one of the talks about that I do, about this whole research that water has memory.
mm,
Water, it can remember different places it has been through, and everything gets imprinted in the structures
mhm,
of water. So if
mhm,
somebody abuses the water or is in a very harsh environment, then the whole structure of water is very disturbed. And if
mm,
the same water goes through whether a natural setting or a prayer or a meditation or a positive energy of I love you or anything, then the water structure changes. And and it is seen that this change of structure also happens in our body, because we are 80% of our body is
water.
made of water. So when we see that spirituality or these practices, these rituals are there, they are not just blindly being done. There is a whole science behind it.
Mm,
I may not be able to understand. And and traditionally almost all the temples has water called as tirtha, that is given when you
mm,
go into the temple. And this water
yeah.
is kept in front of the Lord, who is worshipped, who is offered prayers, and all those positive
Mm,
energy, the spiritual energy, is stored by that water. And when a person comes
mm,
to the temple, then when he takes sips in that water, he accesses that spiritual energy. And same with when someone goes to a holy place, like Vrindavan, or they take a bath in the holy rivers there. And why are they called holy?
mm,
Because that water has stored all that spiritual energy of all those sages that took bath there. And when you go and take bath, then you are accessing that energy, that memory that they have stored there. So if you
mm,
don't understand the science, taking a sip of water when you go to the temple that pujari gives, or taking a bath, or anything that you do, may seem to be like scienceless, but there is a very
mm,
deep science. And whether we understand all the science of all things, but culture or rituals are a way by which you maintain the norms without people messing up with it. Yeah, just like in medicine, like in medicine or operations. Initially, a procedures are taught that this is how you are supposed to do. And once the procedures are taught and once you become expert, then sometimes you can be very spontaneous. But initially only you start to being spontaneous, either in dentistry. First you said, okay, you have to put this, then you have to do that. So it's a ritual. But behind the ritual, there is a science. And so if you understand the science, it makes all the sense. But if you
Yeah.
don't understand the science, just don't put away it. Try to seek answers, or at least follow till you get the answers.
Very well said, Prabhuji. Thank you for explaining that spirit aspect in a ritual, which makes it spiritual. You know, and so my next question to you is, nowadays Instagram and all social media are seen by the youth of India, youth of the world. So why is the youth not into spirituality? They feel that spirituality is a cult kind of a thing. Youth today will take to spirituality only if initially you show them some fruit, that this is the thing, you get it from it. So why should
Hmm.
a 20-year-old boy or a girl take up to spirituality or meditation? What is out there for him?
The My experience, like when you are a young boy, so many distractions are there,
Yeah.
and you just get flown away. Just get flowed by what the society wants of you, what your friends want, and then
Mm-hmm.
you identify with that as the achievement. And in the later years, you kind of start to feel, hey, I never followed what I wanted, or I was just not trying to be nice, be good on the social media, whether actually become excelling at my studies. Because if
Mm.
you're good at something, naturally you will get glory, you will get
Yeah.
praise. But if you just run after praise, then you'll never be good. You can never actually improve yourself in whatever field you are in. So youth now is so much into not trying to uh, bring appreciation to them through likes. And there is a famous thinker that said this is the first generation, or these are the
Mm.
first years where there is so much activity that is being recorded
Mm.
without uh, substantial productivity. So a lot of activity being recorded, but hardly any something that is was actually productive. Previous times, only those activities that had great gain, say the invention of car or invention of something, that was recorded in history because it was
Mm-hmm.
something that was. But now everything from morning to night, people are recording all their activities without seeing
Mm-hmm.
is it something that is actually meaningful and of worth. Just showing
Mm.
what I am eating or what I am drinking, what am I wearing.
Mm.
And for all those who are into this uh, the social media generation, Netflix came up with this one documentary called The Social Dilemma.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that
Uh,
recently. Yeah.
so I recommend very strongly that everyone sees that and know that how it's you're just being persuaded, subconsciously being controlled to become a
Mm-hmm.
tool rather than uh, and especially the youth, they are very susceptible to validation, and therefore they're always after likes and increasing their either snaps
Followers.
followers. And so if you're just driven by this, and to get a hook and get a hold, because we all need to feel good about ourselves, we all need,
Mm.
and that can come either from outside, or that can
Mm.
come from a feeling of inner worth. And through spirituality, once you start to feel your inner worth, you're no more driven by the external world.
Yeah.
And that's when you gain strength to follow your dreams rather than
Mm.
uh, just show up that I'm already there without actually
Mm.
being there. So spirituality helps you to get a hold on your habits, your timelines, your focus, and therefore spirituality, the sooner we take, the younger we take, the easier it is to mold ourselves and to
Yeah.
get benefited.
Wow, that's a wonderful take on that for the youth spirituality. Prabhuji has shown us the fruit, the larger than life picture, what you get from practicing meditation and spirituality. It's just not activity, but it's productivity. So thank you for that input, Prabhuji. Also, nowadays, youth today, most of them are into relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend. So many of them are dealing with breakups and heartbreaks in a relationship. So what do you have to say? How do we deal with the heartbreaks or breakup, especially when life beats you down that bad? So what is your message to them?
Uh,
I know it's a difficult
the
question for to ask to a monk about this, but you must be getting some questions like this from the youth,
I get
right?
a lot. I get a lot of this breakup things, and this also again has to do with Western, not Western, but the mindset that is there in youth. Uh, it's a the stage of learning
Mm-hmm.
is is a very important stage for you to grow in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and often after the stage of learning comes the stage of earning, and then comes the stage of having a partner, getting married. And when people tend to mix this up in the stage of learning, you start to focus on earning.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're because learning takes a particular mindset of trying to see what can I learn, what can I know, how do I understand this. But earning, for one is it gets you money, but other is that you start to see life in a different way, that who will give me better money, or what is. And if when people try to do both, they can't focus on either of them.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, do multitasking, not just individually but also in your life. That if you go into emotions, because relationships are about emotions,
Yeah.
and emotions take a large piece of our mind than just analysis or thoughts, because thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
analysis, learning, it's all dry. And before you do this hard part of learning and growing yourself, and if you just try to go after some girl or a boy and get married,
Mm-hmm.
then how will you maintain that person if you don't have a good lifestyle? Have you thought about maintenance, or it was just okay, we'll both enjoy as long as, and then we'll change? And the way Western society is now, that India is taking over, India and Chinese youth are taking over all the jobs there, because of this very mindset of free mixing, and not having a particular plan for their life, that
Mm-hmm.
the stage of learning, the stage of earning, and then the stage of getting married or having a partner. So
Responsibility.
each one has to be done in a particular stage. And then I know some that in the age of 40 they are trying to apply for some degree, because now they realize they didn't complete their studies.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also again a difficult phase. Later years it becomes difficult to grasp knowledge. So when a
Mm-hmm.
situation is very favorable for something, better utilize that, because then it will be much easier for you to progress in that. And without, and even if know there is love initially, you don't have to engage in either time wise or energy wise at that stage. That
Mm-hmm.
let's keep this on hold. Okay, we have a liking for each other, but let's not get into this at this stage, because each of us will lose our career, will lose our ability to excel in our career. Let's focus on career, let's focus on the individual growth. And once we both individually grow, then we can take this up. There is no hurry in that. The hurry is in our should be in our studies. The hurry is should not be in for marry. So don't hurry to marry, but hurry to learn. So
And worship Hari.
worship Hari, and that's
So
why
we have a
because
question here, Prabhuji. Yeah.
yes,
We have a question from Karma Raj. How can I control my emotions and anger?
anger. One of the strong reasons why anger comes up is because of our inability to handle diversity. And people are different than the way we think, or the way we see, or the way we have priorities. And everyone is differently made, uniquely made. And because we are not able to handle the diversity, the anger springs up. And to be aware of this and starting to understand, it's not that that person's way of doing things is not, it's not that it's wrong or it's right, but I don't see that way, or I don't think that way, therefore I am becoming angry. Like, no, as I said, a flow guy and a planned guy. A flow guy uh, will always upset a planned guy. Like husband usually, is all free, he doesn't plan, and wife, she plans, and the wife gets upset about the husband, that we have to go to the airport at this time and now we are still not ready. So it is because of diversity and not able to handle diversity that we feel anger. Another reason for feeling of anger is that somebody or something didn't come up to your expectations, that you wanted this, but you got this. And your inflexibility to accept reality also springs up anger. So if you cultivate flexibility in your expectations, that yes, I may plan for this, that I'll be okay with this. And if you adapt yourself for handling diversity, just people are different, let me try to see why is this person doing this way, rather than trying to see everything from my point of view. So if you cultivate flexibility and celebrate diversity rather than tolerate or destroy, shun away diversity, but celebrate each other's differences, and any team becomes strong not with the same kind of people, but like I gave example Mercedes and Benz. The reason why they became such a excellent successful team is because of their diversity, but they each supported each other, and that's why they became a good team. So
Like a
therefore, so when
Pandavas,
you,
for an example.
like the
Pandavas were
Pandavas,
totally diverse people. Yeah.
yes. So diversity and also flexibility. When you try to gather these skills, these abilities, then our emotions will not be upset by people or situations when they don't go nicely.
Okay. So we have another question by Amit Pandey. How can we focus and dedicate ourselves to our goal of life? Like, I think you already answered that in the meditation part, but you can
Yes,
give a gist for that question.
yes. Uh, they say that a goal has to be a worthy goal. It's not that we can just fix some goal based on our feelings, but when the goal is truly worthy, truly of value, when you truly respect and look up to the goal, then the focus comes.
Yeah.
All of us have experienced that when you want to wake up in the morning, it's very difficult to wake up.
Yeah.
But the day you have to catch a flight,
Hmm.
then it becomes easy, because you know the value of not getting up,
Yeah.
the value of missing the goal. So most of the goals that we have no idea why is that goal a goal. Is it just whimsically selected by someone or by you? And we don't really know what is the worth value that that goal will bring into your life. Most
Hmm.
goals that we have in our life are just milestones. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a NRI. I want to be a millionaire. But once you get there, there will be something else that will drive you. And if you make a milestone into your goal, then no, milestones don't have value. They are just some stones that are kept next to the that you have to reach there. But from there you can proceed ahead. But if we truly see, if we truly
Please
try
continue.
to
Sorry.
see, yeah, if we truly see that what is that goal that is truly worthy of following, and something that is a real value that will bring to my life. And when you follow that, then the focus and dedication will come, because yeah, the value of having that, and the chance of missing, and the trouble in missing that, having that.
Wow, so wonderfully answered that we should be aware what our goal of life is, whether it is of value, and only when we get to know the priority, the importance of our goal, only when then we will be able to focus and dedicate. Thank you for that. Yet another wonderful input, Prabhuji. We'll like quickly conclude by
Yes.
if you have the ability to give everybody in the world, all the human beings, 5 books for every human being in the world, which would be those 5 books which you would recommend?
Mm, in one of the recent Rotary talks that I gave,
Hmm.
same question was asked, so I'll repeat the same answer because these are the five books that I was really inspired by.
Hmm.
One is Journey Home by Radhanath
Hmm.
Swami. It's an incredible journey, and the journey we all go through
Yes,
in our
and I
quest
have
for.
that book right now with me.
Oh, wonderful. The
So I
Journey
always
Home.
read this book whenever I feel low or anything. Amazing read, amazing read.
Amazing book. Really takes us through the human emotions, as Ratana Swami, he checks from United States to India in search of
Hmm.
God. So that's a book that I would suggest everyone to start with. And then the second book that I strongly recommend, that truly value, is a book by Viktor Frankl called as Man's Search for Meaning. This is a psychologist who lived in the time of Holocaust. He was also in this concentration camps, and what he sees in those camps, and what he learns about what drives us. And a gist of that book is, he says that most of our most of us are driven by pleasure,
Hmm.
but more stronger than pleasure is power, and more stronger than power is purpose.
Wow.
And those who have a strong purpose in their life, and all those people that were there, they all could survive. But those who didn't had strong purpose, they all couldn't survive that intense torture that they went through. So
Hmm.
that's one book. It's a short book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And the third book that I will suggest is Bhagavad Gita, as it is, amazing Krishna's immortal wisdom. And so please read that whenever possible. And the fourth book that really touched me uh, recently was this Jay Shetty's Think Like a Monk.
Things like a monk. Yeah.
Amazing book, like superb book on
Yeah.
his journey, and also so many lessons that he gives. And this book is, because it's written by a millennial. I
Yeah.
many of the challenges that most of the youth or we all face is, we can resonate very much with that. So Think Like a Monk.
I
I would
have my
suggest.
copy. I just recently ordered it and I'm planning to read it this
Yes, amazing,
Sunday.
phenomenal book. Uh, and the last book that uh, I would suggest is a book by Richard Rohr. Is a Christian pastor, called
Hmm.
as Falling Upward. So, so this is a book about how the two aspects of our life of growth. One is to form a healthy identity, and another is to dissolve that and to go to the next stage. And so the two halves of our life, forming and leaving it, or graduating it. Just like,
Hmm.
you you do good at school, but then you also plan how do you get out of the school. So getting in and also getting out. So some of us get into some things, but we get stuck into that. But
Wow. Wonderful.
to be able to know grow out of any situation, uh, grow in any situation and then grow out of a situation. It's called as Falling Upward by Richard Rohr. So these are the 5 books that I would suggest.
Wow, thank you for that wonderful input. So, like Prabhuji mentioned, 5 books which he recommends to everybody is Journey Home, the Bhagavad Gita, Think Like a Monk, Falling Upward, and what is it? Man's Search for Many.
Meaning.
Yes, meaning. Okay. So thank you, Prabhuji, for that wonderful suggestion by you. And lastly, I would like to ask, what is in it in the Bhagavad Gita? Can you just break down this Bhagavad Gita book quickly for our people? Is it a sectarian kind of a book which only Hindus can read? And what is the message in it? Why do people say that open any page and you'll get all your answers? Why do Mahatma Gandhi say that? Ki whenever I feel depressed, morose, I just open any page and it gives me that relief. So, what is it in that book?
Uh, Gita was spoken at a time of a great challenge, a personal challenge that Arjuna was facing of
Mhm.
priorities, that what is important. And we all face that importance, that challenge of priorities, that is work important, is home important, is spirituality important, or is just productivity important. And when we face this priority dilemma, we either go by our feelings or we go by society's norms. But both of them, we like Arjuna sees that there is a downfall, that there is no satisfaction. That I won't be, if I just know go by feelings, then it may actually end up doing something that may not be for my welfare. And if I just go by what is society's norms and society's acceptance, that may not be truly me, and I'll always be discontent internally. Although externally, getting validation, so but internally totally hollow. So the whole message of the Gita is a journey, as I recently said, from being a thermometer to a thermostat. A
Wow.
thermometer usually just responds to external situations, and it doesn't have its own identity. It's just a response. Uh, but a thermostat, just like an AC, the external situation, it responds, but it doesn't react. It adjusts itself so that the internal environment always remains cool and serene. So currently we are very much affected by what is happening around us, and that takes up our mental space, and we are bothered, we are disturbed. But to be able to be fixed in our mindset and not be in that undisturbed state of mind, like a thermostat, in spite of being in a summer, in spite of being in a chilly winter in our lives, is what the journey of Bhagavad Gita is, to make us steady, dealing with the things in this world, but we are not sinking into them. It's just like, sometimes there is that, when you throw a coin on the into the water, experts, those who are really expert, you might have seen this skill, the the coin can actually float through, like
Yeah.
it touches the water, it takes a jump up, and it actually goes through and it goes to the other side. And those who are novice, who are not experts, when we throw the coin just goes into the water, it's gone.
Thanks.
And that ability to deal with the situations, touch, but also to be able to go further, not touch and go, that you don't actually help. So we have to deal with things that are happening, but they shouldn't enter our space, and this should always be able, like Krishna says in the Gita, Padma Patram Ivambasa, like a lotus, being in the mud, but not becoming the mud, or not becoming infected by the mud, being dealing with things, toxicity, toxic people, and energies that may not be suitable, but never getting disturbed. And so, not being a thermometer, but being a thermostat. So that's the journey that Gita takes us through. and this journey will help us to follow our purpose with in a undisturbed way. Otherwise, all the external things that happen will constantly keep draining our energy. So that's the message of the Gita.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for breaking the Bhagavad Gita so quickly in such a fantastic manner, giving us the gist, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, like the shifting the paradigm from thermometer to thermostat. Thank you for the wonderful analogy. So, Prabhuji, is a lot of questions, lot of spirituality. Do you want to ask me something from dentistry, or you want to any dental suggestions, or any anything from dentistry you want to ask me?
Okay,
A transcendentist to a
I will
dentist.
waiting to get the doctor's appointment. I have to pay. Kushal Prabhu must be a very important doctor. I had to pay a lot of answer a lot of questions so I could get his time as a dentist. So I had this curiosity. Uh,
Hmm.
is it is it a sign of health to have teeth very white? Because I see this displayed all over that have a
Yeah.
white teeth. Almost all ads show, and
Mm.
I've seen old people that have been
Hmm.
having healthy teeth at the age of 80 or 90. I knew my grandfather at the age of 95 was able
Hmm.
to chew hard substances,
Mm.
and they don't seem to have this white. So where does this white teeth concept come from? And can you just throw light?
Wow. Thank you for that wonderful question. It's very relevant question in today's time when everybody wants that sparkling white pearly set of teeth. But actually speaking, scientifically, teeth are never white. So to have a white teeth is something which is not natural. The natural
Oh,
color of a teeth is slightly yellowish. So it is like
acha,
yellowish
acha.
white because the outer layer of the teeth is enamel, but the inner layer of the teeth is called dentine, which is yellowish in hue. So the enamel
Oh,
is translucent and it reflects the yellow light of the dentine. So naturally the teeth are supposed to be slightly yellowish, but it's just because the social norm and the people just want so much selfie conscious and so much people like want that aesthetic part that they feel that whiter teeth is something the new normal. So it is nothing to do with which is not
sign
normal,
of
but
health.
it is, yeah, nothing to do with sign of health, but it is absolutely normal to have a yellowish teeth. But sometimes, if because of our eating habits, like we eat too much of, like people smoke and they drink too much of wine, and that also causes discoloration of your teeth. So their teeth tends to become more yellowish side because of those eating and drinking habits.
So
Otherwise,
too much yellow is not good.
too much yellow is not good. Sometimes we take too much of turmeric, so that is also not good. So like if you're taking it, you should need to you need a dental appointment once in every 3 months to get a basic polishing and cleaning done, which will remove those superficial stains. But otherwise, having a yellow teeth is very good. And like you said, the habit, the older age people in the villages and in the different generation, they had such nice strong teeth, at that age also. That was also because of their habits. They never ate pizza, pasta, chocolates, ice cream, and all this
Yeah,
junk
yeah.
food which people today are eating. They are just exploiting their teeth, abusing their teeth literally. So I see so many of my patients cavities, gum diseases, bleeding problems, which was practically not there in the Vedic times. We never hear in the Mahabharata that this has got a toothache or any Bhima has got. So this problem practically did not exist. But today's day and age, because of the current eating habits, drinking habits, and not maintaining the teeth to the best, how to maintain them, and you have to polish it. It's like a body. You have to maintain the body by doing yoga, by eating right. So your teeth is also part of the body. You need to maintain them by brushing twice a day, flossing, gargling. All these things people are neglecting, so they are having all these dental issues. But if we never had any dental issues, then what is the use of my profession? So it's like one man's poison is another man's nectar.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I probably personally want to have your appointment in the clinic very soon. So once the lockdown is over, I would love to have you at Oramax Dental Clinic so I can do some service on my part to enhance your already beautiful smile.
sure, sure. I will. I'll definitely come and
Yes.
get that. I have one more question about
Yes, Roji.
uh, in the West. I've seen that people use this Listerine to clean
Mm-hmm.
their teeth. I don't
Yeah.
see in India it's that much. And is there some benefit for or is the normal way of brushing is the
Oh,
because
well,
just I see
Listerine, hmm.
you're aware of Listerine?
Yeah, it's a mouthwash, right?
Yes, mouthwash.
Yeah, so Listerine and other this company came up with this mouthwash. Basically, this is not to be used on a regular basis. Let me tell you that this is just like if people are too lazy to brush their teeth or do tongue flossing. So what the morning they quickly do their Listerine mouthwash and they go off for their meetings, so that the odor there's no foul odor from their mouth. But to be honest, being dentist from the scientific aspect, all these mouthwashes causes staining of teeth over a long period of time. If you keep on using them, your teeth becomes discolored and they become stained. So it's not very healthy, not advisable to use mouthwash on a daily basis. Only when you're going for a camp, say, or where you forgot your toothbrush, or only when you have particular gum diseases, only then the dentist will recommend you a mouthwash. Not basically Listerine, but a milder form of a mouthwash. Listerine is something on a very harsher side, so it does more damage than good. So a milder mouthwash like a chlorhexidine mouthwash would be good for people who are like sensitive kind of a teeth. Otherwise, just proper brushing and flossing technique is what I recommend. And I also recommend this kind of a toothbrush, which is called a powered toothbrush. So nowadays, people don't have time to brush their teeth. They don't keep a track of how much time they're using. So this comes with a 2 minute auto timer. So it's just you have to press and it vibrates and oscillates, and you just have to keep it like this, and automatically after 2 minutes it stops. So this is like a more advanced kind of a toothbrush where it is battery chargeable and you can carry it everywhere you want, and the manual errors of brushing gets eliminated, so you can make a good use of technology there.
Oh, okay. I would like
So
to end
close.
with just one thing.
Yeah, please.
Unless you had something.
No, you please carry on.
One of our once in one of our ISKCON centers,
Hmm.
a sadhu, another sadhu had come to our temples, and he noticed from morning to evening, these monks are, doing different activities. And
Hmm.
then he commented something which really I liked, and I thought it's connected to this discussion.
Hmm.
He said that I see you ISKCON people,
Hmm.
you're always having a muskan on your face. So he said you're all having muskan, a
Uh,
happy, a smiling face, because you're all, having this connection to God and you're feeling happy. And then I was just reflecting that to have a good smile on your face, first of all, you need a
mhm.
healthy teeth, healthy
Teeth.
body, and a happy heart.
Yeah.
So a happy heart is my focus, and a healthy teeth or a healthy mouth is where I think you are excelling. You're trying to help
Yes.
people. So
And you
when
are giving happiness to the heart.
we are trying to lighten the heart more than giving any happy, just lighten all the talk, all the burdens that people put on. So both together, a good combination. Prabhupada always said that if you're having physical issues, then no, to be able to focus on spirituality, like if you have a tooth
Difficult.
issue, to be able to
I know tooth
focus
pain is
on
the
tooth.
worst.
Yes, tooth
Yeah.
pain is the worst. I suffered through 15 days having no dentist near to
I
approach in
know.
US. So it's the
So
worst.
I
So
relief of tooth pain and you relief of truth pain. So people have a lot of pain in digesting the truth. So you make it, you give that anesthesia and the painkiller.
just like this conversation, I think uh, when we collaborate and we try to help each other and to help the society, this is the best
Yes.
combination of, as the olden times called as Brahmana Kshatriya combination. So
Yeah.
thank you. It was a great
So
pleasure
thank
being
you
live with
once
you.
again for, yeah, it was an absolutely honor and privilege. I would just like to conclude by playing a rapid fire round. I'll just speak one word and what is the first thing which comes to your mind? And you can speak that.
Oh my God. Okay.
Love,
That's the first thing that came.
love,
Love, uh, Service.
Service. Wonderful. Friendship.
Trust.
Marriage.
Uh, Marriage.
I know you're not married.
So marriage, understanding.
Understanding. Wow. And friends.
Friends, helping.
Helping. Wonderful. Spirituality.
Spirituality, humility.
And COVID-19.
COVID-19, a blessing.
Blessing in disguise. Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm sure you made the best use of the lockdown. I heard that you have done so many courses and upgraded your knowledge and skills to another level.
Yeah, so much of the work, it was almost a relief for me. Of course, we feel for the suffering of so many, but because I got time, I could so much
Yeah.
focus and study and prepare so much content for helping people. So that's why
Wow.
I said this COVID has been a blessing in
Yeah.
disguise. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm saying nowadays that 2020 has
Hmm.
become with a dash in between 20 minus 20 has become zero. For most of us, this
Yeah.
year doesn't exist in terms of
Definitely.
productivity or anything. But in other ways, 2020 has been like those intense period where we all had to rise up and really catch on to what we can do
Yeah.
best and improve our productivity.
Yeah, self introspection was the main
Yes,
thing. And I could
yes,
spend so much time with my family, with my friends, and the kind of amazing online sessions which I attended, I hardly offline, haven't attended such huge, so much of ocean of nectar is there outside.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
lastly, Prabhuji, the word is Oramax Dental Clinic. What do you have to say about that?
That name itself says that the place where the the oral health and the moral health will be at best or will
Yeah.
be rectified.
Thank you for your time, Prabhuji. It was an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure having you over. And thank you for, I know you are very busy, but you spared out such precious time for us, enlightening us, enriching our knowledge, and bringing that joy and happiness and answering all these questions. So thank you all the viewers for attending today's session. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for following us on Instagram. If you're not following Prabhuji, please follow Brajmohan. Here is the handle, and follow him for his enlightening more such talks in the future. And I shall definitely have you over to Oramax Roji very soon after the lockdown, after the COVID pandemic, and we shall
Sure,
have more
sure.
such sessions in future.
And you're also
Thank you,
invited.
sir.
Obviously, anyway, you come to the temple, please
Yes,
come with your family and
sure,
spend
sure,
time with us.
definitely,
Hare Krishna.
definitely. Hare Krishna. Thank you everybody for your time. Hare